Hello, everybody. Bonnie here for Intuitive Eating Wednesdays. I'm so sorry. I'm like 3 minutes late. I had to take care of something and the clock just kept running. So, welcome to this week's Intuitive Eating Wednesday Live. Hello to those in my Facebook group and to those watching on YouTube. So let me know if you're here watching with me. When you pop on, say hello. Tell me where you're from. If you're on replay, also let me know where you're from. First and foremost, I would like to just give a really big welcome to all my new Facebook group members and all my new subscribers on YouTube. I'm super excited that you're here and you're my community. If you find my videos, my lives, my blogs helpful, feel free to share with your friends, with family, for those who you think will benefit from it. So I just, let's spread the love. So just share and share alike. So today we have a nice topic. I mean, I tried to figure out what would be helpful for you, what topics around intuitive eating, emotional eating, body image, relationship with food and body. Anything is on the table. So I try to think about what is going on in my own life. What am I personally experiencing for my intuitive eating, and what are some of my clients bringing up? And that's how I determine what topics to bring to you each week. By the way, I'm always open to hearing your requests. So if you have certain topics that you would like me to talk about, I would love it if you would let me know. You can post it below the video, DM me, do whatever, just to, let me know, and I'll add it to my lineup. So if you're here with me live, please come and say hello. Let me know if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Okay, so today's topic is how the warmer weather affects your intuitive eating practice. And so let's face it, I mean, I'm in New York, Long Island, New York. I'm trying not to speak with an accent. So many people say I have a Long Island accent. Do you think I have a Long Island accent? Anyway, and the weather, well, today actually it's a little cooler, but when I was writing this post and thinking about the topic, it got really hot here. It was really hot. And yeah, the summer is here. It's almost July, my favorite time of year. I'm not so sure a lot of people agree with me, but summertime is my favorite. I feel my best. I am just full of energy. Yet I have noticed something around my intuitive eating practice. I've noticed that my appetite and my desire for certain foods change. And so that's why I decided that that is going to be the topic for this week's intuitive eating focus. So how does the warmer weather affect your intuitive eating practice? So I want to hear from you as well. As you know, I totally like to communicate with you back and forth when I do my lives. So comment, send some hearts, some thumbs up, something, so I know that you're here and I'm not just talking to space. Anyway, so this is the topic. So my appetite changes, and I always think to myself, okay, so my appetite is changing. And if it was the old me thinking about when I was dieting, and if I felt like I wasn't going to eat enough, right? For what was the purpose? When you're dieting, what's the purpose? To lose weight, right? Well, when we're doing intuitive eating, it's not about weight loss. It's about honoring your body, respecting your body, trusting your body. So when your appetite changes and you see the type of foods change, the amount of foods change that you eat, are you still honoring your body? Are you still honoring your intuitive eating practice? And the answer is, well, that depends what you do and how you respond and what your thought process is when you're assessing your appetite and your food choices. So pop a comment. Let me hear from you. Before I go on to explain the science behind all of this, have you noticed that your appetite changes in the warmer weather? And by the way, in the colder months, I'm sure it can change as well. I know, again, I'm going off my personal experience. It does. So let me know in the comments if your appetite changes when the warm weather hits, and if your preferences for food change as well. Now, food preferences is a big topic. Maybe I'm going to do another live on that one day, because people who have chronically dieted, who have eaten foods that they've been told to diet, that this is what you should eat, tend not to even know what their food preferences are anymore. They're not even sure what they like and what they don't like. And it's something that we go through in the process of really returning to being an intuitive eater to identify food preferences. So anyway, I go off on a tangent, but my point being, I want to hear from you, so please comment. So let's just talk about the science behind why this happens, right? The reason that, okay, so I'll say it first very short, and then we'll dig deeper into it, right? The reason behind the changes in your eating patterns and your appetite in the choices of foods that you make during certain times of year has a lot to do with what we call thermoregulation. So your appetite is, we find this in the research, so your appetite is closely related to climate change. Our meals are connected very many times to the changes in the weather. So we find that people tend to eat lighter foods, cooler foods when it's hot outside, right? Ice cream, ices, salads, fresh fruit. So this concept of thermoregulation can explain these eating changes that you have. Ooh, a heart. Yay. Thanks for the heart. Love it. So let's talk more about what is thermoregulation. So it is basically the ability for your body, or to keep your ability to keep your body, let me say that again, your ability to keep your body temperature within certain boundaries, within a certain temperature range, even when the surrounding temperature is very different. So simply stated, thermoregulation is a natural maintenance of your body temperature. So your internal body temperature, it's regulated so much, by the way, is regulated by this brain up here, right? The hypothalamus portion of our brain, which really does regulate our body temperature. And by the way, it is also the appetite center of our brain. Another topic for another time. But so that hypothalamus, what it does basically is it monitors your body temperature moment to moment, and it compares it with the temperature that's surrounding you, the temperature, what we call the normal body temperature, which is what, 98.6 Fahrenheit. And if your internal body temperature falls too low, the hypothalamus, your brain, remember that brain is responsible to keep you alive, that your brain makes sure that your body generates and maintains heat. So one way we do this is by eating. As you eat, your body provides energy, right? If in the process of digestion and breaking down the food, we release energy, and that energy produces heat. And that is a way for you to regulate your body's internal temperature. So makes sense, right? Why in the cold, in the winter, you may feel the need that maybe you find that your appetite is increased and you might be choosing heavier foods that take more effort to digest, will produce more heat to warm up your body. And in the summer months, when the weather is warmer, what does your body want to do? Your body gets hot. The internal temperature gets hot, right? Especially if you're outside and you're not in the beautiful air conditioning, and your body wants to cool off. It wants to stay cool. So in the summer months, you may find that your appetite is reduced, especially if you're, like I said, you're outside. If you go on picnics, if you go on hikes, if you just spend a lot of time outdoors, which I hope you are able to do in the summer, because that's what we look forward to. At least I look forward to that. And so that is your body trying to regulate your internal body temperature by cutting down on heat generating functions, such as digestion of your food. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense, if that clears up things, because it's always really great to know what lies behind your eating decisions, your food choices. I tell my clients this all the time. I am not here to tell you, eat this, don't eat that, do this, don't do that. What I like to do is explain, to educate and explain the science behind things, because then once you understand, once you know, then it just makes a lot of sense. It clicks, and it's that much easier to make certain changes that you really want to change, instead of just following what somebody else tells you. It doesn't matter how many credentials a person has. If you're going to move into that following, I'm going to follow those guidelines, the diet mentality is going to kick in. Hey, Eileen. Oh, I'm so glad it makes sense. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so I just think this is super interesting, right? So that is why I like to explain the science behind it all. Okay, so again, so that's in the hot summer. And on the flip side, what I said earlier is when it's cold outside, your body has a lot of work it has to work harder to maintain your temperature at what we call that normal level of 98.6. So you eat more food to help fuel that process. Eileen says, I have found this to be true. Excellent. Yes. So this is why I'm bringing this up today, because personally, I have found this to be true for myself in the last couple of weeks in June as the weather has changed. So I thought it would be an amazing topic for you. So what are some tips to help you eat intuitively during the summer months? If you're here with me, maybe you have a tip that you can share for some people as well. I'm going to just take a quick drink and I'm going to share some of my tips. Don't forget to share this video when we're done with people and invite people to the YouTube channel, to the Facebook group who can benefit as well. Okay, so eating intuitively during the summer months. So with less of an appetite that you might have and perhaps skipping meals that you don't even realize you're skipping, right? You may wonder if you're still honoring your intuitive eating practice if you end up eating less. So yes, you can and you will. And here are some tips. Number one, always think to yourself before you sit down to a meal, what do I really want to eat? There are no shoulds and shouldn'ts in intuitive eating. So don't go and prepare a meal for yourself that you think you should be eating, right? Should be eating, but you don't really want to. But you think you should because you're focusing on trying to be healthy, right? That just backfires all the time. You will not feel satisfied. You will probably be resentful. And then after you eat, you're going to look for other food anyway to better meet what your feelings are, what you really want. And just because somebody else might have prepared a meal for you, by the way, doesn't mean you have to eat it. This is something I tell my intuitive eater in training clients, that you don't have to eat anything you do not want. So asking yourself, what do you really want to eat right now? How are you feeling? How is my body temperature? What am I really feeling? How do I want to feel after I eat? Is really going to help you have greater satisfaction. Eileen shares eating lighter meals, more salads and fruits. Okay, that's great, Eileen. That's what I crave during warmer months. Right. Me too. Me too. Right there with you. If you're on replay, what foods do you crave during the warmer months? Share so we can all be inspired. Okay, tip number two, to continue to eat intuitively and honor that intuitive eating practice during the hot summer months. Eat with awareness. So not only do you want to eat with intention, which reflects back to number one tip I just said, you also want to eat with attention. So staying fully present and being fully aware of what you're eating and how much you're eating in response to your hunger and fullness signals. If you're eating outdoors, here's an example. If you're outside, you're having a picnic, or you're just, eating in the backyard and the beautiful sun is shining and your internal body temperature is rising, it may affect your appetite even as you're eating during that meal. So maybe at the start of the meal, you weren't so hot, you weren't so warm, and you were like, yeah, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat this amazing meal I prepared. But throughout the course of being outside and becoming overheated, you may find that your appetite begins to wane. So staying fully present and being aware of what your body is telling you throughout the course of that meal is important, and not continuing to eat just because the food is there and you don't want to waste it, right? That's part of that Clean the Plate Club. Are you a member of the Clean the Plate Club? If so, we've got to work on that. And then tip number three is nourish yourself as part of your self-care. So let's say, for example, you're hot and you recognize that your appetite has been affected, and maybe you even forget to eat. I know that's weird, right? People might say, I don't know, I forget to eat. And someone else is going to say, how do you forget to eat? Who forgets to eat? There are plenty of people, by the way, that forget to eat. People where food is a non-issue in their life and they're busy with tasks, but especially if you are, number one, you've been dieting for a long time and your hunger signals are very quiet. You don't hear them unless they're ravenous and screaming at you. you may forget to eat, or if you're just so overheated and that itself has blunted those hunger signals, right? You may forget to eat. Well, in these situations, it's important and very helpful to consider nourishing yourself on a consistent basis throughout that hot day as part of your self-care. Why? Because we need nourishment. That's the only way we can function, right? So we need nourishment. So nourishing yourself maybe every 3 or 4 hours, something like that, because it might be more difficult to detect those hunger signals. Okay. So those are my 3 tips to help you continue to eat intuitively, respect your practice, even during the summer months when your appetite might be diminished. The bottom line is this: a decreased appetite in the summer is normal, and there's scientific basis to that. Number 2, if you have a hard time detecting hunger signals, try to eat on a more regular basis as part of your nourishing self-care plan as you're learning to become more familiar and ignite those hunger signals. And finally, number 3, if your appetite is not affected at all during the summer months and everything I'm saying, you're like, I don't know, that doesn't happen to me. That's okay too. It may not. It may absolutely not happen to you. I just know that this is something that I've experienced and I've shared with a few clients, and they've experienced that. And I wanted to bring that to you today as our topic for this week. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Definitely pop into the comments when you're on replay. And Eileen, I'm so happy that you're here. But on replay, pop into the comments and let me know your thoughts. Let me know how your appetite is affected. Let me know what food choices change for you in the warmer winter. I'm sorry, the warmer winter. That makes no sense. The warmer weather months. Okay. So don't forget a couple of quickie announcements. Number 1, we meet live every single Wednesday here at 12:15 Eastern. If you can't make it live, check it out on the replay. I also want to, if you're not watching me on YouTube right now, if you're in my Facebook group, go over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I am going to be uploading more and more videos there, and you'll want to benefit from those as well. Okay. So that's it for me for today. Have a great, great, great day. Post any comments below. Next week, Wednesday, we'll meet again. I will announce the topic on Monday. And I have a couple of other things that I'm cooking up for you. So I will share that in another post. All right. Have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.